Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Kea-cyber. So today we're going to be talking about rules of engagement. Basically, rules of engagement are set of rules that should be adhered to and are understood by you and the organization when conducting a professional pen testing. Basically, here we have in-scopes. In-scopes are basically forms of attacks that a target company allows slash your company has agreed to. Basically, this can range from business subdomains to type of employees. Basically, this is a social engineering. So basically, the business might say, hey, you know what? You can run an attack on the finance or admin just to see whether or not they've been paying attention to our, security training and things like that, and to further train them if they went, and they might allow this areas allowed. So basically, with cyber security or pen testing, so for the most part, you also search for would you be allowed, because for the most part, sometimes hackers can go into your offices pretending to be customers or clients, put USB that they can use to exploit you later on. So basically, this checks for, are you guys prepared to receive, or more for the most part, can you guys actually qualify who is your client or who's your the hacker? And it ranges on, because it goes from it's more than that. So let me actually give you an example, but then let me cover out of scope and I'll give you an example on two of them. Basically, out of scope are basically at forms of attacks that the target company restricts, so they don't really allow you to do this. Your company can't run any attack here. This includes business subdomains. We just talked about it. Um, Type of employees. So basically, they might say, "Hey, don't run attacks on our finance, admin, even IT." They can. They don't really want you because they've already taken care of it, and they don't want you to bother that employees with that. Areas allowed. So basically, sometimes they might not really allow you to go into that places. Like, let's say they have a firm in Joburg and then they have a firm in Durban, and they're like, hey, you know what? We don't want you to go into a Durban. Maybe that Durban is more of their headquarters, so they don't really want you there in the first place. They don't want you to even think about going to a subsection in that area. Okay, basically as a good example of rules of engagement, and this is from a background, and the company is Ops Genie. I hope I'm saying it right. Ops Genie, yeah, Ops Genie. If I'm not, then they'll be strong. So basically, they're letting you know how they want you to operate and what rules they expect you to follow. So focus area, authentication. Okay, here a set of rules, and here you're out of scope. Basically, they don't want me running anything here. They don't want me to actually look at this information right here, or any internal or development services that they are, website testing or whatever they're doing. They don't want me to look into here. So basically, I know I'm not allowed in this subdomain, and if you do try getting here, they won't really pay you much, or they won't even pay you at all, because they literally told you you're not allowed to test whatever information is right in here. So basically, in scope, this is what I'm allowed to actually do and check for and see if there are any vulnerabilities that can, pose as a threat to their business. And they actually allow you to run your information gathering. I'm just gonna say information gathering or recon. So basically, they all have rules and exceptions, and basically, out of scope, anything not declared as a target or should be. However, to help avoid gray areas, below are example of what is considered out of scope, and they give you a nice example of what they consider to be out of scope. Okay, and here are the rules. You can read further about this on barcloud.com/opsgenie. Back to our slider. So basically, the best practice is to, try to understand the roles given to you or ask for help, whether it be a colleague or senior management. Basically, try to understand what you are expected for. Do passive recon before active recon because I do believe you have to find information first because sometimes you might run an exploit on a domain that's not really their domain, and so for the most part you are now running an exploit on a different company which didn't really consent to you doing this. So for the most part, finding the IP address and trying to run more information on it to actually further qualify that this is the actual IP address and you can run an exploit on that would be far more better than trying to run an active recon on a domain just for you to find out that that's not really that domain and now you're hitting a different business. Basically, try to find the best time to conduct the pen testing. This actually, you avoid hurting them at critical business hours because sometimes, things do happen. You can, knock over some things when you are doing your pen testing. And for the most part, if there are like, maybe a service company that gets most of their orders during 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and you run your attack then and something bad happens, you basically hurt the business and they're no longer able to get clients because they're not operating anymore. Do not guarantee that everything will run smoothly. Yeah, mistakes do happen, you know. So for the most part, this actually helps helps both us and the client because we both understand what could happen. Avoid running excessive port scanning. This is actually harmful and destructive to companies sometimes because for the most part, these things are the ones that actually, knock over because there are IPs that block you from doing that, and it also sends a warning to them saying, there's someone out there trying to run a port scan on you. IPS can also block you from it, regardless of whether you ask for permission or not. IPS, and for the most part, I genuinely do believe that most companies nowadays, and not most, and let me just say some companies nowadays already have the port sorted out. So basically, you won't really find much. And by making good notes, you can actually avoid running excessive port scanning. So by making good notes, you can also help compile the findings. So basically, for the most part, whatever you find on your pen testing, you can use and put in a much readable format so that the company that you were running your pen testing on can understand what you found, and from there on they can see what they can do with their IT guys. And number 8, of course, is report findings. Why is this important? Big reason is so that everyone is on board with everything. It establishes at what time we can perform the pen testing. This is critical. They let us know what they need checked. So basically, this is whether it ranges from a certain domain, like how we saw in background, or they may just want you to run social engineering just to see if they are ready or not. It also protects you. For the most part, when things go wrong, they do tend to find out where did it all go wrong. Did everyone do their job? Were the standards that were required met? And you avoid the consequences of not adhering to the rules, which are not basically not following the rules of engagement can hurt both you, your company, and client. Hefty fines can be payable. It destroys the business reputation and might not be able to recover from it, and can lead to dismissal. Thank you guys very much. Hope you have a good day.